before I get to Christmas,
Yeah.
I wonder if I may just indulge
course.
and
Yeah.
tell a couple of stories.
Please.
Tell a couple of stories. I've just come back from what's known as COP, and that's the Conference of the Party, the 29th COP that's happened, and that's the United Nations Climate Forum, you know, the biggest climate conversation in the world.
Where was that, Marta?
That was in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So I just got back on Monday from that. But the reason I wanted to share that is that we were given opportunity as a church to be a part of different platforms. You know, there's press release with the World Council of Churches, and also be a part of a panel at the Australian Pavilion. This is 60,000 people that are gathered, representation from 200 different countries. I guess I wanted to share the story. I was a part of a panel of, you know, some very powerful people in Australia, you know, with statistics, you know, all the stats about climate, you know, world warming, one of the lead from Union. So there was, you know, 4 of us in the panel. We get to talk, they get to, you know, speak at different times about, you know, transition to renewable energy and, you know, all of our part in the world to care for God's creation. And one of the things that happened in that space is that I was really discerning, what do I share?
Wow.
You know, what do I share sitting in the room with experts in the room? And I think one of the things that I shared was that, you know, there are lots of experts, but we as people of faith are experts in the faith, expert in walking alongside people and alongside the vulnerable and the marginalised in our community. And I am unapologetic wherever I am about sharing the gospel. And in this very strange way, in this pavilion on the other side of the world, I got to share the gospel, you know, in saying that as a part of the body, whether it's an organisation, whether it's the World, you know, United Forum, or even in this room, as part of the body, you know, there are often lots of joys that are happening and we need to celebrate that. But when there are challenges, we have responsibility as human beings to ensure that we do our part to lift that up. And I think when we do that, we become a more harmonious, a more wonderful world, in a world that it's so many challenges that are happening in the world. I think it's being reminded of that. And I share that story because that's what sets us apart as a church. Is that we are unapologetic about sharing the hope of the gospel of God in the most unexpected places. And I guess I share that in response of, you know, leading up to Christmas. What is it? You know, Christmas this year for me, it's about, I'm passionate about justice, about social justice or climate justice.
Yeah.
All of those things, because as someone who comes from the margins, as a woman of a different colour, as a woman who has experienced a lot of challenges in the world, Christmas for me is about that reminder is who is it in our community that are needing that care and that light of Christ at this time. And it's, you know, do justice, love mercy, and to walk humbly with God.
Oh, wow.
And we have to continue to offer that as a church. It's not just about the wonderful things that we do because we can or we have the money to, but it's to be reminded that there are vulnerable people that are struggling with mental health, that are just struggling with broken relationship or just struggling to put food at the table. You know, the gospel of Christmas this year, you know, talks about, you know, the angels appear to the shepherds in the field for good news for all.
Yes.
And for me, the message of Christmas is about how can you share good news for all in your own community, even in your own family. You know, we're a broken world.
Yep.
And we just, as a church, have to offer, you know, signs of hope and the light of Christ in the midst of that.
Wow. Amen.
Sorry, I'm just...
Can I tell you,
no apology needed.
you
Yeah.
are a gift, sister, to the world and to our movement. You bring your full humanity to the role, and it is an absolute honour to be with you and to hear you and to see you. Just bring your full, authentic self to the gig, Marta. I just want to affirm you. I don't know if that means anything coming from me, but I'm just telling you, sister, I'm in the room with you, and people, if you're listening, it's just off the charts. It's like a collision of heaven and earth in this moment in the studio, hearing you speak. And so, thank you, girl.
Thank you.
For being you. It's just epic. I'm moved now. I'm all bloody crying.
Well, I think what an amazing message, I think, for people to contemplate, especially as Christians. I think we can often intellectualize our faith, which is, it's good to have head knowledge. But what an amazing thing to think about at this time of year in terms of like, what does it actually mean for the gospel to be good news for all, and how do we enact that and take part in that?
100%.
And I think all of us, if we actually thought about it, there would be people in our lives that we're close to that are doing it rough, if not ourselves. Everyone does it rough, and I think at this time of year in particular, whether it's in terms of family dynamics or other, a lot of those things kind of bubble to the surface, which can be a challenge, but is also an opportunity to be in that and to be advocates of hope in that space.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I love about, I've listened to a few different podcasts here at Filthy Hope, and I love that the opportunity that we get to share our stories.
Yeah. And
our stories as people of faith is not separate to God, even when we face really difficult challenges in our life. Yeah. When I talk about, I was asked to launch a Renew for All campaign about affordable energy, affordable electricity for everybody, right, in Canberra a few months ago. And I got to actually be real and say, I've experienced my electricity being cut off.
Yeah.
As a single mum.
Wow.
I know what that feels like. And just because I'm a leader of the church, I think that's probably why I've been called into this space. I mean, we know. Yeah. And I think the more we get to actually say, share these stories, actually gives hope to people, but it actually, reminds us as a church that we're the church. We're the church. We get to walk in that vulnerable with the people that are just, with people that are struggling. And for those of us who have experienced that, we know what it's like, man. And so, yeah.
Well, you get an opportunity to speak truth from personal story, and I think that has huge impact in the world. And hearing you speak like that, I didn't know that part of your story, Marta, is just, I think people in the world today are searching for deep authenticity and with faith, because I think in the past there's been a lack of authenticity and people have moved away from faith, and you bring that to the role, and we're really grateful for that, because it hopefully people will be able to hear and be attracted to the story of hope that you bring. I know I am.
Thank you, Ness. And, in sharing the, I want to be clear that, it's not about me. Like I'm being called into the role, and at the beginning it was like, why me? But I do believe that I've been called in for a reason and a purpose.
Yeah. And
perhaps this is part of it. It's to being able to share the reality of what it means to have a challenging life and offer that healing and hope for others. And, I've often said at different spaces, one of the things that I hope to do in my role is to open the door of the church wide open, for all.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all to be welcomed and, to be a part of. I've been a youth worker, work with youth, young people who are often, I remember as a young person going, anyway, let me not go there. But yeah, I guess it's just about being able to kind of go, how do we make the church more accessible?
Yeah.
Because I believe that that's, you know, Christ's intention, you know, is for the church, for the body to be open to all.
Yeah.
Yeah.